Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to talk about doing composite portraits. There are a lot of different ways we can do composite photography, and today I'm going to talk about a really simple technique on taking three different images of the same person and creating one image with that person appearing in three locations in the single image. This works really great for graduation pictures or other types of portraits where you want to show several different perspectives of your subject. In this example, we have a young lady who wanted a graduation portrait done. As you can see, she wanted one image in her graduation cap and gown, another image where she is dressed up, and a third image where she is just wearing street clothes. To make this kind of photograph and make it as easy as possible to process, you will need to mount your camera on a tripod. I would also recommend using aperture priority on your camera and use a medium to high f-stop so you have a large focus field. It is critical that your camera doesn't move through this entire process. You will also need to make sure your subject has everything close at hand and has some place close to change between images. If you're outside, you don't want your light values and position changing too much between exposures. Finally, when you plan your session, you need to make sure that your subject is not overlapping in any of the images. If the subject overlaps, it'll make the processing much more difficult. Let's get started. In Lightroom, I have my images in a quick collection. I've taken several images of the subject in different areas of the image. Then I select the one I like the best in each zone and use them in the final image. I select those three images and then select Edit In and Open as Layers in Photoshop. So I'm going to use this image here, and this image here. I right-clicked on them. I'm coming down. I'm selecting Open as Layers in Photoshop. Now we need to make sure our images are in alignment. We will select all of our images in the Layer panel. Then we select Edit on the toolbar and Auto Align Layers. I select Auto here, and then I click OK. This image is showing some white areas around the edges. This means the camera moves slightly. This is not a problem, as we will just crop this area out in the final image. A word of warning, in this particular image I didn't leave enough space around my subjects to allow for much cropping. As you can see here, down here by her leg, I've got very little space to work with. The subject was too close to the edge of the image. Make sure you give yourself a buffer to make crops in post-processing. Now that we are aligned, go back to the images in the layers panel and select the top one, which should be the only image we see in the main window. This one here. Then at the bottom of the layers panel, click Add Layer Mask. Now we are going to make sure we have this layer mask selected, and we're going to erase the part of the image where the other two images are laying underneath with our subject in there that we want to have exposed. We come over here. We will select the Erase tool off of the toolbar, or you can press E to select the Erase tool. Then I'm going to the top and I will adjust my brush size. In this case, I want a fairly large brush size. And I'm also going to limit the hardness down to about somewhere in the 57, 60% range. That way I have a nice soft edge near my transitions points. Now on this first image, I'm going to erase where the subject is and the two underlying images. As you can see, the subject from the image just below is now starting to appear. When you are erasing the image around your subject, make sure you include the shadow your subject casts. The subject's shadow also needs to be taken into account when you're avoiding overlap when you take your initial images. And this is one of the reasons we want the images shot in a short amount of time if you're outdoors, because the sun will shift those shadows. Now that we have the subject from the second image exposed, we need to come back and do the same thing with the image down below. We select the second image. Then at the bottom of the layer panel, add layer mask. Select the layer mask. We've already got the erase tool selected, and we're just going to come up through here, and we're erasing where the other, now so we're erasing where she's at. We're making sure we get the shadow where she's at over here on the stairs. Now her legs down here did not appear whenever we ran the erase tool, because over here on this other mask, we haven't exposed them. So we need to come down in here, and if we erase back on that first mask, making sure that we've got everything where shadow would be cast exposed, then we should be close. So remember, inside of layer masks, black conceals and white reveals. In this particular image, I shot 3 images of the subject. You can do as many subjects as you like. Just be cognizant of shadows and overlap. Overlap can be dealt with, but makes the processing much more complicated. So whenever I exit back out of here, I'm going to tell Photoshop to go ahead and save this. It will close it down, and then it's going to reopen it back in Lightroom, and this is where I'll end up doing my cropping, any type of color correction that I need to do. I'll do it inside of Lightroom. I hope you enjoyed the video today. Remember to click like and subscribe down at the bottom, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks. Take care.